Are you feeling tense in your lower back and also seeking a stronger core? I'm Hannah from Tula Being Mindful Movement, where I truly believe that yoga should be available to everyone. Today, we're focusing on a chair yoga practice designed specifically to ease lower back pain discomfort. And we'll also be tapping into our core muscles and building strength in our legs. Now, we won't actually be seated through the whole duration of today's practice, but you'll still need a chair as a prop. So go ahead, grab something really sturdy with no armrests so that we can be joined today in finding balance in our body and our mind. So I've positioned my sturdy chair with no armrests on top of my mat because we're going to do some seated movements, but we're also going to do some standing movements and use the chair as a bit of a prop. So you don't want your chair to be sliding away. So for me, this is a good setup. I know that it's really sturdy when I do put some body weight into the chair today. Let's begin by sitting, if possible, not using the back of the chair. So I've just come a little further forwards on my seat, but if you do need that support, you can start with the support of your back leaning into your upright chair. I've placed the feet a good hip width on the earth, and I've chosen to bring my palms to face down on the thighs. If you want to, you can flip your palms and have them facing up. At this point, maybe you focus the gaze low or bring your eyes closed. As you inhale, notice the air draw in through the nostrils. Feel the sensation of breath entering the nose. And as you notice the exhalation begin, what temperature does that breath now feel in the nostrils? For the next couple of rounds of breath, notice whether your inhale or your exhale feels warmer or cooler. And as you breathe, you might even gently state warmer, cooler for each of your inhales or your exhales. Maybe you notice as you repeat those words that you also notice different sensations in different parts of the body. Here we are just being inquisitive and not judgmental of whatever is happening for us in this moment. And then gently open the eyes and reach the arms up as you inhale. You could turn the gaze up, lift the heart space, maybe open up a little more through the center of the chest, and then just let the arms relax back down and lengthen the spine into a neutral posture. As you reach the arms up again, maybe you notice that the heart space automatically lifts. And then exhale, lower those arms back down. So as you're doing this a few more rounds, see if you can avoid turning this into a back bend. See if you can instruct your heart space to lift upwards rather than fold through the lower back. So we're trying to have a lovely controlled arc through the spine. You might notice that the hip bones rotate forwards a little bit as you lift the heart. And then maybe you notice the sit bones ground a little more into your seat as you come back to neutral. We're not exaggerating the tilt of the lower back, but just be aware of those shifts of the pelvis as you lift the arms and lower them. If you're finding that the lower back feels tense in any way, see if you can keep the lower ribs actually tucked inwards a little more on your lift of the arms. So don't exaggerate the fanning and the flaring of the lower ribs. See if you can keep them slightly contained so that your core starts to engage for these little heart lifts. Let's do that 2 more times. One more round. And then go ahead and widen the legs and start to lean forwards. Bring your forearms, your elbows on top of the knees. And then just let your head dangle, but do press away. So I'm pressing my forearms down and I'm actually drawing my shoulders down. So there is a little engagement through the upper body. And I'm seeing if I can actually start to part my shoulder blades behind me here and feel a sense of expanding through the thoracic upper back, upper middle back there, up in towards the shoulder area as well. And I'm just letting my head dangle, so you might even do a little nod or a rotation or oscillation of the head so that you're not finding tension through the neck. It's really about just stabilizing through those arms. One more breath here. And then start to gently lift your way up and roll up. So bring the legs back to center. And if you can, you're going to lift your left leg. I'm a mirror opposite to you. So lift your left leg and cross that over the top of the right. And then try to sit tall and use your hands as a gentle guide, but you're not forcing with your hands. So we're going to keep coming back to the core today. See if you can gently start to rotate your heart the opposite direction towards the left side. Stay nice and tall. Maybe you feel like you could even flip the palm away from you on that right hand and press the back of the hand into the knee. Maybe you get a little more rotation. Maybe you can use your left arm behind you and find it hooking around the back edge somehow of your chair. See if you can sit taller, and now see if you can start to draw some core strength into this posture. So if I was to remove my arms from that connection of chair and leg, I stay in the twist. I'm just going to hover those arms, and maybe you notice that you and sprung back, and maybe you're overusing the grip of your arms. So just see at what capacity you go again with the arms. I've gone a little further now. I know I'm never going to hold that. So I'm just going to back off slightly, use my core to hold me in place, and maybe there's a squeeze of the thighs together. I notice that I squeeze the thighs a little bit more so that I can hold that posture, and then back to center. Undo the cross of the legs and swap it over to the second side. So again, just noticing that we are initially using the arms to take ourselves into the twist. That's totally fine. Get to a point where you're not overdoing it. And then maybe you can just release the hands from the body. Maybe you are using the back of the chair. I've just hooked an elbow around the back of my chair. I'm going to go for a really deep twist using my arm strength to get me into that shape. I know I'm never going to hold this without the grip of my arms, so I'm going to back off a little bit and then see what I can do, just hovering arms off my body and seeing if I can hold in place. Maybe you're squeezing the thighs a little bit more. That's okay. Counteract where we bring our muscle engagement, and then just soften again back to center. So we're going to go ahead and just stand up and come over to one side and turn towards your chair. Now we've got some options here. I'm just going to step a little bit further away from my chair. I'm going to soften through the knees, and I'm going to see if I can reach towards the base of my chair here and just rest my palms. So I'm going to keep my knees bent the whole time. As I push my hips away, I'm going to creep my fingers forwards, and then I'm going to see if I can let my head completely dangle. So you might find that this is too low to bring your hands onto, and it could be that you just need to bend the knees a whole lot more, or you could do this exactly the same with the back edge of your chair. So we could be doing that a whole lot higher. So I'm going to bring my hips back behind me, bend the knees, rest the hands on top of the chair, reach the hands forwards and the hips back so they're going in opposite direction, and then just let the head relax here. See if you can stay there for another 3 rounds of breath. Giving ourselves an opportunity to open up there through heart space. I'm ever so slightly pressing down into the little finger side of my hands and my palms. Feeling a sense of contraction through the shoulders. And then slowly lift up by pressing into the chair, and then you might just release those hands and begin to roll up. I'll step a little closer back in towards the chair. You might need to hold onto the chair for this, but we're going to bring the foot that's towards the front of your chair. We're going to bring that foot up and on top of the chair. Let's bring it towards the center of your seat. We'll keep hold of the back of the chair, and then you'll bring same hand on top of that leg. Same hand, same leg. And then I'm going to just hop a little further back. I know that I feel like I could go a bit further, and I'm going to start to push the hips down and forwards. I don't want to lay on top of that thigh. I want to see if I can stay lifted away with my belly away from that thigh. And then if you feel like you can, you could even lift the back heel up and then down. So I'm just teetering a little forwards here, but I am using some core stability to keep my belly away from that thigh. I'm lifting and hovering through the back heel, sorry. And if you feel like you're really stable and strong, you could lift the hand away from the chair, maybe hands at heart, or even start to reach the arms up as you inhale, lift the back heel, and then maybe sweep the arms back behind you as you exhale. So you can be playing around with this in terms of how far away the foot is on the ground. Just try to avoid bowing and bringing your weight on top of that front thigh. So you might explore where your body can go here. We're building quite a lot of stability and strength through our legs, but there's still that switching on of core here. Maybe you've got another 2 or 3 lifts and lowers. Don't feel that you have to be in this last variation. Maybe you're stayed in that first variation. Okay, so from here, I'm going to bring my hand back onto the chair. I'm going to hop the back foot in a little closer. I know I've gone too far for the next pose, so I'll do a little bend, a little hop. And then we start to push the hips back and attempt to peel those toes up towards your knee, the foot that's on the chair. And if you feel like you can, start to bow forwards over that shin. I'm seeing if I can rotate my sit bones back behind me. Now I'm attempting to get my belly close towards that straight leg that's on the chair, that thigh. And imagine that your gaze, your head, the crown of your head is trying to go beyond your toes. Don't worry if you can't touch the foot. It's not about that. Maybe just holding onto the shin. It could be that you still need a bend through that leg that's on the chair. Your shape might look quite different to the one that you're seeing with me. 2 more breaths. Noticing whether you're dipping one hip lower than the other. Can you stabilize both sit bones roughly the same height? And then start to lift yourself back up and rebend the front leg, or simply walk to the second side. So let's go ahead and open the heart again. Maybe you've come around to the back of your chair or you've just turned it. I've walked a little further back here. I know that I'm going to need a bit more room. Bend through the knees, bring your hands onto the chair. I quite like to think about walking my hands forwards so that there's this forward action of the fingers and backward action of the sit bones, and really bend the knees as much as you need here. We try to press down through little finger side of your hands. Let the head become heavy. Maybe again a few little oscillations of the head, a little yes or no. Again, don't expect to look identical to what you see on the screen. We are all built differently. You might have the hands a whole lot higher, maybe the knees a whole lot more bent. Just a couple more breaths here, feeling as spacious as can be through heart space. If you're familiar with puppy pose in yin yoga, somewhat of a similar pose that we're aiming for here. And then when you're ready, roll up. So I'm just going to bend deeper through the knees again and begin to roll up. So I'm going to walk a little closer towards my chair, take hold of the back edge. The foot that's towards the front of the chair, lift that up, place it to the center of the chair. You'll be exploring how far away you're going to want the foot that's on the ground for this. And it could be that you'll keep creeping it further back and then maybe you've gone too far and you'll come further in again. So for now, I want to think about driving the hips down and forwards. Never be afraid of that knee tracking forwards of the heel. That's an alignment that we do refer to in yoga, but it's completely safe for your knee to track forwards of that ankle. We have to do that in many daily activities like walking stairs, so it's not unsafe for your body, but just try to avoid that knee traveling sort of inwards perhaps if possible. So you're driving the hips down and forwards, but you're not allowing yourself to collapse over that thigh. So you explore where you want the foot on the ground. I'm going to take a few little hops to feel sort of stable. I might also add on a little more in a moment or two. And then to begin with, I'm just going to start to see if I can lift the back heel and lower. And you're really welcome to stay holding on to the chair the whole time, as long as you need. If you feel like you have got a little more capacity to go further, you keep bringing that back heel or the back foot further back on the ground. If you feel really stable and supported and balanced today, maybe you're bringing the arms to swing with your movement. Nice and gentle with those arms. It's not about bringing us off balance. And start to feel into your strength. Those leg muscles, glutes, quads, hamstrings starting to switch on there. I'm going to go for one more lift and then lower. Now I know that I've gone a little too far back with my back foot, so I'm just going to hold on to my chair, hop it in a little way, and then begin to straighten more through the front leg, the one that's on that chair. So if you can peel those toes back as though you're drawing the toes back towards the knee, your shape might be with that front leg bent. Just go where you can. Now see if you can bring your belly towards that straight leg thigh. Sit bones are trying to peel back behind you. Imagine that the crown of your head is drawing forwards of those toes that's on the chair. Don't think that you have to bring your face towards the shin or the knee. Think more about extending heart and head forwards as you bow. And just another round of breath. We're going to re-bend that front leg and simply step the foot down. Come ahead again to sit on your chair. This time I have chosen to sit all the way back. And again, you might choose to have palms facing down at this moment or facing up. Let the shoulders drop away from those ears, crown of head, lift up. Inhale through the nose. This time, sigh the breath away. If you have time to stay with me now, we pause, we breathe for a seated Savasana. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like it below, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon. Not only will this keep you up to date with my offerings, but will keep content like Tula Being free and accessible to all.